Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Can I say it's a pleasure to follow the former Prime Minister, and perhaps her behaviour in office, like many that went before her, was about dignity, about the importance of the office, of respect, of truthfulness. And the Prime Minister will be well advised to focus on those that have not dishonoured the office like he has done. The Prime Minister has told the House that all guidance was completely followed. There was no party. COVID rules were followed, and that I believed it was a work event. Nobody believed him then, and nobody believes you now, Prime Minister. That is the crux. No ifs, no buts. He has willfully misled Parliament. It's bad enough.
Order! Inadvertent misled the House would be acceptable. Misled the House is not acceptable. Withdraw inadvertent.
The Prime Minister inadvertently told the House on the 8th of December that no parties had taken place, and then had to admit that they had. In short, Mr. Speaker, this is a man. Well, they can laugh, but the public know. The public know this is a man they can no longer trust. He has been investigated by the police. He misled the House. He must now resign.
Order. You'll have to withdraw that last comment.
Mr. Speaker, I gave the evidence of the 8th of December.
Order. You're going to have to withdraw misled.
Mr. Speaker, the Prime Minister has misled the House.
Unless you withdraw, I will have to stop, and that's not good. Just withdraw the words.
I am standing up for my constituents that know that this Prime Minister has lied and misled the House.
Give me the paper. Give me the paper. Inadvertently misled. I'll give you one more chance. As leader of the SNP, I don't want to have to throw you out. I'm going to give you this chance. Please.
Please to power. That man has misled the House.
Shut up. I'm sorry it's come to this, and I'm sorry that the leader of the party has not got the decency to just withdraw those words in order that this debate can be represented by all political leaders. Would you like to inadvertently?
Speaker, if the Prime Minister has inadvertently misled the House, then I will state that.
Right, we're going to leave it at that. Can I just say, I take it the honourable member has withdrawn it, the right honourable member.
That the Prime Minister may have inadvertently misled the House.
But, order. To help me, to help the House, you withdrawn your earlier comment and replaced it with inadvertently.
It's not my fault if the Prime Minister can't be trusted to tell the truth.
Under the power given to me by Standing Order number 43, I order the honourable member to withdraw immediately from the House.
Does my right honourable friend recall that ever since he joined the party's candidates list 30 years ago, until we got him into number 10, he has enjoyed my full-throated support? But I am deeply concerned by these events, and very concerned indeed by some of the things he has said from that dispatch box and has said to the British public and our constituents. When he kindly invited me to see him 10 days ago, I told him that I thought he should think very carefully about what was now in the best interests of our country and of the Conservative Party. And I have to tell him he no longer enjoys my support.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I imagine that I'm going to be asked to wait for something else. But can I just simply ask the Prime Minister, was the Prime Minister present at the event in his flat on the 13th of November? I assume he doesn't need other people to tell him whether he was there or not. Was he at the flat event listed in the report on the 13th of November?
Mr. Speaker, I'm very grateful to the honourable lady for inviting me to comment on something that is being investigated.
It seems a lot of people attended events in May 2020. The one I recall attending was my grandmother's funeral. She was a wonderful woman. As well as a love for her family, she served her community as a councillor, and she served Dartford Conservative Association loyally for many years. I drove for 3 hours from Staffordshire to Kent. Only 10 people at the funeral. Many people who loved her had to watch online. I didn't hug my siblings. I didn't hug my parents. I gave a eulogy. And then, afterwards, I didn't even go to her house for a cup of tea. I drove back 3 hours from Kent to Staffordshire. Does the Prime Minister think I'm a fool?
No, Mr. Speaker, and I want to thank my honourable friend, and I want to say how deeply I sympathise with him and his family for their loss. And all I can say is, again, that I'm very, very sorry for misjudgments that may be made by me or anybody else in.
Anybody who's actually read the Sue Gray report can only wonder what she was made to leave out. Will the Prime Minister give the House an undertaking that as soon as he is able, he will release the full, unredacted report to this House?
Mr. Speaker, Sue Gray has published everything that she can, and I propose that we wait until the conclusion of the inquiry. But in the meantime, Mr. Speaker, I think it peculiar that the report is being simultaneously hailed as utterly damning, but also condemned for not having enough in it. Mr. Speaker, it can't be both.
We've been asked to keep some sense of perspective, and I think that's right. The question here is whether those who make the law obey the law. That's pretty fundamental. Many have questioned, including some of my constituents, the Prime Minister's honesty and integrity and fitness to hold that office. Now, in judging him, he rightly asked us to wait for all the facts. Sue Gray has made it clear in her update today that she couldn't produce a meaningful report with the facts. So can I ask the Prime Minister the question that the Honourable Lady, the member for Hackney North and Stoke Newington, asked him and to which he didn't give an answer? When Sue Gray produces all of the facts in her full report after the police investigation, will he commit to publish it immediately and in full?
Mr. Speaker, what we've got to do, Sue Gray, is wait for the police to conclude their inquiry.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The thing is, this is who the Prime Minister is. A serious failure to observe high standards, failures of leadership and judgment, excessive consumption of alcohol in a professional workplace, gatherings that should not have been able to take place, staff too frightened to raise concerns, parties in his own private flat. A leopard doesn't change its spots, does it? Every single one who defends this will face this again and again and again, because he still won't even admit to the House that when he came to us on the 13th of November and said the guidance and the rules were followed at all times, and on the 1st of December that all the guidelines were observed, that those things simply were not true. If he won't correct the record today, there's nothing accidental about this, is there? It's deliberate.
Millions of people took seriously a communications campaign apparently designed by behavioural psychologists to bully, to shame and to terrify them into compliance with minute restrictions on their freedom. What is my right honourable friend's central message to those people who meticulously complied with all of the rules and suffered terribly for it, including, I might say, those people whose mental health will have suffered appallingly as a result of the messages his government was sending out?
Mr. Speaker, I want to thank all those people for everything that they did, because together they have helped us to control coronavirus. And
North Norfolk consistently had some of the lowest levels of infection in the country. We followed the rules. So many of my constituents have been incensed. The damage that this is doing to the government is enormous. It is about integrity and trust. Can I ask again, because people want to know, how can the Prime Minister now satisfy my constituents and assure me that full accountability and transparency on the findings of the final Gray report will swiftly follow?
Speaker, this morning the Conservative Party in Scotland issued a press release and it stated, and I quote, "The pandemic sees a rise in criminals getting away with crimes." Were they talking about the Prime Minister?
Mr. Speaker, what we're actually doing is cutting crime by 14% and putting 20,000 more police on the streets.
Me that those opposite have used far too much time, far too much parliamentary time debating this, and I can assure my right honourable friends that the residents of Stourbridge, they want the Prime Minister to focus on the matters that really they care about.
Just a moment. In fairness, the Prime Minister has to come and make the statement. Now, I'm not going to attack the Prime Minister for making the statement. I certainly wouldn't expect it from his own side.